Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball, a special edition today because we're not talking MLB baseball, we're talking World Baseball. The World Baseball Classic. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. My name is Jimmy. I'm here with Trevor Plouffe, producer BBD behind the dish. No Jake, as he's still in St. Lucia on a little pseudo honeymoon, not really his honeymoon. Before I even start, if you're here for World Baseball Classic preview, jump to
7:20
timestamp that it happens in 5 minutes because we do have to catch up. Haven't seen Trev in a little bit, but then we'll get into it. If you don't know us or care about us, just skip and we'll get there. But for those that do, Trev, how are you?
James, it's great to see you. Beavers, obviously me and you have been real tight during this vacation window. I'm excited to talk about this because I think I'm the most World Baseball Classic guy at the company. Maybe not the company, but on this show. I'm very excited about all of this. I definitely want to try to get down to Miami for the final set, but I believe this is going to be one of the better WBCs that we're going to have. But I missed you guys. What do you mean Jake's on a pseudo honeymoon? He's going to do it again?
Yeah, Jake and Jess like to celebrate a 5-day wedding.
They do.
They're going to a different part of St. Lucia, the island, to unwind. They went yesterday, today.
I think they come back
tomorrow might be their travel day or Thursday.
Yeah, I think he mentioned coming back late Thursday.
Yeah, so Thursday's their travel day. So then yesterday, today, they went another part of the island, just the two of them to escape it all, which you do kind of need. They've been hosting and entertaining for 5 days. Sure. Jake has no voice. But it was a good time. I didn't see Jake that much, really, because he's doing wedding stuff. The times in his hotel room getting ready for the wedding was the most I hung out with him. So
I was getting some updates from the peeps on the island. I got some video sent to me. I mentioned before Kelsey sent me this video of Jake twerking on the boat, which was awesome. I'm sure I can imagine Jake's a very gracious host. And when you host a wedding, for sure, it's not about you, it's about your guests, which kind of stinks, but I think he kind of likes that stuff. So I can actually hear his voice right now, that little Jake voice like this.
I have never gone to the other side of the island. Oh, is it a honeymoon? No. Yeah. Yeah, he had no voice. His eyes were messed up because his eyes go when he's drinking or tired, his eyes just go red. But it was fun. It was a good time. Joe's was there. Moylan and his wife, and I took so many good pictures of Joe's. He owes me so much money. I basically am the best photographer of Joe's McFly on this earth. On this earth, no one takes better pictures of Joe's McFly than me. It was fun. It was a really good time. Mandy, Moylan's wife, was awesome. Never met her. Kelsey and Casey, I'd never met Casey. Nikki was there. His girlfriend, Lucia, not a saint.
Yeah. Not yet.
There, and Nikki's in the office today. So it was really fun. Rosie was there. He stayed at a different hotel, so we didn't get that much time with him. A lot of time with Moylan and Nikki, Kate and Kelsey.
2 quick questions because we want to get into this. 1, did your old school wedding videographer instincts kick in? Were you God, that guy should be on this side of the aisle instead of this side?
No. They had a pretty solid crew. Here's one tip: if you're getting married and you need a photographer, have your photographer know the names of all the people in the one side of the family, the other side, all the photos you want. I want me and Jake's mom and Jake's sister. That's a photo I want. And print it out and hand it to the photographer. So instead of, okay, who's with this family? Who's with that? Who's your friend? And then the best photographers just have a piece of paper and they go, Jake, Jess, Charlie, Joe, Ryan, and Megan up. And then they walk up, take a picture. Okay, next. Blue, blah, blue, blah. Next. So that's one advice I always give is those, even if the photographer doesn't offer that, just give it to them. Because that's the worst part of weddings. Everyone is don't leave. You're back. You're in this. Dad, don't go. You're in this photo.
Everyone just wants a cocktail. Can I just go drink now?
Yeah. I just want to tell you one thing before we get into the World Baseball Classic. When we went on the boat, you would have hated this. Me and my buddies, and I started it, but they were pretty in on it. There were these big rocks in the ocean, and we were seeing how many rocks it took to drown people. And we were just laying flat, floating on the top of the water, and then we were placing these big rocks on people's stomachs and backs and seeing how many it took to just sink them to the bottom. And everybody that we drowned came up, because you could just shake the rocks off, came up and was like, that was awesome, and asked for it again. And I just need to share that was the best, 1 hour of my whole trip.
It's like the most fun time.
I'm not really sure how to respond to that.
So I held two rocks in my arms, on my shoulders, and then my buddy put a big ass one on my stomach, and it plummeted me 15 feet to the ocean floor so fast, I hit the bottom of the ocean floor and bounced up. Unbelievable. I came up like it was it was like the drop zone at Six Flags, or, you just go and your stomach drops. But you wouldn't think that rocks would do that to you. It was awesome. Anyway, so if you want to practice drowning, just make sure you can shake them off. Let's get into the World Baseball Classic. It's brought to you by Blue Moon. And maybe I had someone when we were playing the rock game. Spring training is here, which means baseball is finally back. Blue Moon gives you a dose of ballpark nostalgia to get you excited for the season. It's a bold flavor, bright explosion of color. That color, blue. An iconic orange slice, not blue. Good mixture of colors, though. Anyone? Blue and orange? The Mets. Guarantee a one-of-a-kind beer experience perfect for spring training. Bring the ballpark to you for spring training. Blue Moon Belgium-style wheat ale is one of a kind every time. Belgium have a team in the World Baseball Classic? Netherlands, the closest you're going to get there. Tell listeners that what you love most about enjoying... what I love most about enjoying a Blue Moon is drinking it and feeling refreshed. That's
beers on the berm. Beers on the
berm.
Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. Celebrate responsibly. All right, let's get into it. How we're going to do this show is we're going to lay out the format for the World Baseball Classic, the kind of the nuanced rules of the World Baseball Classic. Then we're going to make our picks of who's going to advance, and then our bracket, my picks, Trev's picks. We'll let you know what we think. Also, maybe some sleeper teams we would be excited if they win, because I have a team that's like that. But first, Trev, you said you're excited. I wasn't excited. I've kind of been a little pessimistic because my brain operates on, I can't get excited until it's here. I don't pack for a trip or even think about a trip until I'm a week away. And people were getting excited too far away from it happening. Now that my vacations are done and I'm in season mode now, and I looked at this sheet that we have of information.
Rosters are out.
The rosters are out. We'll share this sheet with people so they can see it because it's awesome. It's a combination of 5 articles. I am very excited.
The reason I like to get excited about this is, well, one, I played for Team USA before, so I have that feeling of what it's like to represent your country. And I've mentioned it on the show before. It's just a different brand of baseball. It's a very selfless brand of baseball. And I know I kind of shit on college baseball and some of the antics that go on in there, and it's going to be sort of college baseball-y. If you watch these games, the players on the bench are going to be up on the top step. They're going to be cheering. There's going to be a bunch of celebrations. There's going to be that general excitement. The caveat being we're getting some of the best players in the world doing that. And you typically don't see a lot of guys in big league games act this way, but they're going to for this tournament because it really does mean a lot. Now, some guys are playing for some countries they're really not from. Vance Worley's playing for Great Britain. Lars Nootbaar is playing for Japan. I know there's lineage there. There has to be, or else you couldn't play. But the guys the guys on the USA team, or the guys that play for the Dominican or Venezuela, they're going to be so passionate. And I think it doesn't come off as phony or fake, because it's not. It's real emotion. And then you get some really good, spectacular baseball played on top of it. So I think the marrying of those two really just kind of gets me excited.
I'm just excited to have a little mini tournament. Obviously people know I've been watching a lot of cricket.
Format.
I've been watching a lot of cricket, and that's all it is these little mini tournaments that are quick. You have a result. I watched the Caribbean series that was baseball because it's just a round robin or pool play, and then you advance from your pool, and then there's a bracket. I thoroughly enjoy that. So the format that I'm kind of touching on right here is there are 4 pools of 5 teams. So 20 different nations qualified for the World Baseball Classic. In pool play is round robin. So each team plays every team in their pool, and the top 2 advance out of the pool. Obviously, if you watch the World Cup or a lot of different tournaments, you know what this is. The 2 that advance go to the quarterfinals, and they will play the opposite seed from another pool. So if you win your pool, your first place, you're going to play second place of the other pool on your side of the bracket. And then it's just straight up quarterfinals, semifinals, championship. We're going to go
single elimination once we get out of pool play, correct?
Yeah, 1 game. Yes. Yeah, right? It's all 1 game. There's no series.
To my knowledge, that's exactly what it is, yes.
So the schedule, it's coming up. It starts March 8th, I believe, is the first game. But
yes,
for people that live a normal life in the U.S. or Canada, the first game you're going to be able to like kind of naturally watch, unless you're a young kid, is March 11th, which is my sister's birthday, because the March 8th games are, 10 p.m. Eastern, I guess, if you don't have a kid. And if you're on the West Coast, that's very watchable. Sorry, my bad.
For me, you have a young kid that's just still up.
Yeah, for me, I want to watch that 10 p.m. Australia, Korea. There's no way I'm up. I still go to sleep so early these days. I'm actually worried about retraining my brain for MLB schedule. But that's when it starts. And then from there, it's like every day there's 1, 2, 3, or 4 games.
We do have this amazing sheet that we're going off of. I think we're going to share it with the audience because our guy Dalton and Biebers put together. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I do want to. Can you, Biebs, go check where we can watch these games too, or if they're going to be televised? Because I don't see that here, and I'm curious because I think that where most people are probably going to join on in the quarterfinals and the semifinals, it's kind of cool to see how these teams kind of start the tournaments, how they do pool play, because you're going to see the full roster during pool play. And once you get down to those quarterfinals and semifinals, you're gonna get the guys. Rosie, I'm gonna shout out something else too. Rosie did a really good interview with Mark DeRosa, the manager of Team USA, and he kind of explained how he was going to use the roster, and I thought it was fascinating.
Damn. Okay, I wish I had that because that's kind of the mind games I'm playing. We'll get to the rules.
Yeah. It looks like pretty much every game's on
Fox
Sports, FS1, FS2, a couple on the main network.
Yeah, and Fox Sports, if you have a cable login, which I know not everybody does, but if your parents do or your friends do, you can stream Fox Sports. Anyway, it's very easy on the phone and on a computer if you don't have like a cable box by you, as long as your parents have one or someone, a relative.
Yeah, someone's logged
your
in.
aunt. It's they've actually made it like I watched every World Cup game just on my phone, and it was really easy and nice on the app. Or foxsports.com, you can stream it, which I did as well. So that's cool. And if you're not tuning into the qualifiers, Trev, what I would say, or the playoffs, the U.S. has a nice run. Four nights in a row, the U.S. plays. Starting March 11th, they open up 7 p.m. Great Britain. Then on the 12th, Mexico. They play Mexico. Then on the 13th, they play Canada. 14th, they are off, and the 15th, they play Colombia. So if you're not watching any other sports besides the warehouse games, obviously, tune in for the U.S. games, minimum.
And you know what's cool about this is not always like the team you think is going to win like moves on. Like I think last year the last time we had this was in 2017. It was like the Netherlands, it was the US, it was Japan, and somebody else that wasn't like the Dominican, it wasn't Venezuela, who you thought it was going to be. So like this is like a different brand of baseball. Like sometimes things happen in these tournaments, guys just kind of take it over. But it does seem to me like when I'm looking at these rosters and kind of looking at the pool play and the semifinals and kind of how they'll match up, it looks like there's a collision course there for the US and the Dominican And I think that's going to be the matchup for me in this series. We're going to get to the rosters, but man, those two teams are absolutely stacked.
Yeah, and certain pools are a little more stacked than others. So you mentioned DeRosa talking about using pitchers and his strategy. Can you lay out some of the rules around pitcher usage, player usage, and then if you can share any DeRosa insights with me? I know I want people to go listen, but I can't pause my brain. I need to know some of it.
The specific WBC pitch usage rules, there's a minimum 4 days of rest after a 50-pitch outing. I don't know how many times we're going to get that, maybe towards the end. Because remember, a lot of these guys are just coming back from spring training, or this is their spring training, essentially. Mm-hmm. So guys aren't built up totally. After that, there's a minimum 1 day of rest after a 30-pitch outing. No back-to-back-to-back days for a pitcher. And we want to note that those rule changes that we're going to be implementing during the year, pitch clock, the engagement rule for the pitchers, the shifts, those will not be used during the WBC. So really, this is hitters, go do your thing. Hitters are so excited, and I think they're going to go out there and just play every day. But pitchers, we really got to watch because they're not built up right now. And DeRosa spoke of that. He said that's kind of the biggest challenge he'll have as a manager. He said, there's two things I want to do. He goes, I want to, win games, but I also want to get these guys back to the parent clubs healthy. And I think that's a big focus for these managers because this is, if we want this to continue to happen, we can't have like a huge rash of injuries, during one single WBC play. Now we're going to have some guys tweak some things. We're going to have some guys maybe come up a little bit lame, but we can't have like a mass amount of pitchers doing that. So we're going to have these rules implemented, and I think it's probably for the best.
Yeah, and that is where it loses me a little bit is when you have a team like Taiwan who doesn't have that many MLB players that's like going all out to win. And then you have a team like the U.S. The talent is unbelievable, but the priority level is different. That's where I've been excited, and then I kind of get lost a little in this. And it's like, I almost wish the U.S. didn't tease me like that. But the roster is really good this year. They have more depth.
Counter to that, James, the counter to that is the players aren't going to see it that way, dude. Once they get there, and I think, like I said, during pool play, everyone's going to play. We're going to have, I don't think anyone's going to even approach that 50-pitch limit whatsoever. But as we get into the quarterfinals, we get into the semifinals, when that trophy looks close, the players are going to be like, let me do what I do. As long as they're built up and their arm is ready, like it's going to be very difficult for Mark DeRosa to just be like, nah, bro, you're going to pitch 20 pitches today. And when a guy's built up for 50, he's not, give me my 50 pitches. I want to be out on that mound because it is such a beautiful brand of baseball. So I think once we get further along, I think those fears that you have that the U.S. or, Dominican or whatever, the guys with a lot of big league talent on the rosters aren't going to be taking it too seriously. I think you're going to find that's not the case. They're going to be taking it very, very seriously.
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
True. I hope so. All right. Let's get right into kind of pool play, which will break down some of our teams and also choose the two teams that you have advancing and choose the teams that I have advancing, kind of fill out our brackets as we go. And if you need to fill out a job resume, you can go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/talkin. That's linkedin.com/talkin to post your job for free. I know that Jomboy Media is hiring some positions right now. Actively searching, and we have a bunch of postings on LinkedIn, and we get a lot of our applicants from LinkedIn, and we that's like the only kind of social media we've been using of late to try and broaden it and change and get the best applicants we can. So you guys should also do that if you want to work here, I guess.
Keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. We do use it. Jomboy Media is active there. Not me personally, but our team.
A lot of people here.
Don't message me because I don't actively respond to those messages, but message our team.
Noted.
Same with a lot of places. So go to linkedin.com/talkin Talkin. You could also hire people if you are starting your own business, obviously. And you need to hire people. Also, you can do that. There's a lot of stuff. You can follow Jake's beautiful Jess Storielli, because I think she's gone viral on LinkedIn before. She's like a LinkedIn queen.
Is that like a real thing?
Yeah.
A couple viral posts.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
We're connected.
Yeah. She's like a LinkedIn. She's like queen of links. Queen of the links.
Okay. Yeah, check that out.
Also Jake's nickname on the golf course. Pool A, Trev, is on the left side of the bracket. They don't have names for each side, but the left side of the bracket's far weaker than the right side of the bracket. I wish Pool C and Pool D weren't on the same side. I think that would have made more sense. I think it's geographical, the reasons why. But we're going to start with Pool A. We have Taiwan, the Netherlands, which is really Curacao and Aruba players. I wonder if, like, mainland Netherlands get into this. You know, they had the World Cup. Like, are they waving orange flags?
I think so.
Okay. Cuba.
Y11.
Cuba's there. Italy and Panama. Now, Panama is a sneaky team that made a run last World Baseball Classic. The favorite is obviously Cuba. They're kind of the only team they're the only team in this pool that has their odds to win the whole thing are under 1,000 on DraftKings. So I think we can start with Cuba because I think both of us are going to have them advancing out of this. Correct?
Yeah, it's interesting. This is the first time we'll have like guys that have defected from Cuba allowed to play on the Cuban national team, which is kind of insane when you think about it. I mean, I've played a couple different, I played against Cuba a few different times, and you never get that. You never get the guys going back. So we have La Pantera is going to be on that team. Yohan Moncada. A couple of different guys chose not to go back and play, which I thought was an interesting part of the story. Citing just like we left that country for a reason. Now we're not going to go back and kind of, shine a light on it. I thought that was interesting, but some guys chose to do it. This is a team that's very familiar with international play. And I think that's a point that I want to make here is international play is just completely different than forming a Major League Baseball team. The games are different. Obviously it's a tournament, not a long season. So, single games mean a lot, especially when we get down to the single elimination. That makes a lot of sense, Trev. Way to go. So you have to know how to play these types of games and understand different types of culture in baseball. Cuba knows how to do that. And these guys, even the guys that have defected and have been over in the States, they've played on, in Cuba before with different teams. They're very familiar with international competition. So I think that's a big reason why this team will most definitely be getting out of Pool A. The talent is there and the know-how in these tournaments.
How many pitchers on the team on Cuba? And this is a question I kind of have for all of the Latin American or Caribbean countries. Were just part of the Caribbean series, played a full league. Like those pitchers are stretched out. They are a little more limitless. I'm trying to look it up now. The Cuban Elite League is the name they used for it. The league out there. I don't know. Time to look this up. But that's a thought process that I was having is if you pitched in winter ball, or especially if you were so the way the Caribbean series works, it's if you win your domestic league. So Cuba has a league of many teams. If the team that wins that goes on to represent Cuba in the Caribbean series, if you have a pitcher on that team, they're pretty fresh.
Yeah, like you're totally right. The guys that have been playing winter ball and in that series and in those leagues, they're going to be kind of ahead of the curve a little bit here. Whereas a lot of guys in the States that don't go play winter ball, again, this is kind of their spring training. So we are going to see a lot of those 20, 30 pitch outings to begin with as we get ramped up. But you're right. Some of these guys, if there's a pitcher on Cuba that's on a heater, we might see him throwing 6-7 innings. And I think that's the kind of different strategy that each team's going to employ. If you have guys that are, real starters, you might let them go a little bit longer. I don't think the U.S. is going to do that at all.
Yeah. All right.
So Cuba's one of our teams.
Yeah, I mean, I have Cuba, and it seems like you have Cuba. Why would you not have Cuba? I'm trying to see. Cuba, Carbo. I don't know. I don't know the names. Whatever. All right. Who else do you have, Trev? Do you want to go first?
It's again, it's different because the teams that you expect to move on don't always move on. Like Italy had a really good run. I think they're the team I forgot that made that run last in 2017. They just kind of started winning ball games. So you can't really just say, oh, Italy, they don't play baseball, because they have some dudes on the team. They're Mike Piazza's managing the team. They have guys like our guy Pasquatch there.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Harvey, interesting name. He's going to be pitching for them. And it's really like, you just got to get out of pool play and see what happens, because those single elimination games anything can happen. If I had to choose a team between Taiwan, Italy, Panama, and the Netherlands, I think I'm going to go the Netherlands.
Yeah.
There's some real talent on that team, and they've shown that they can do it in this tournament before. You have Xander, you have Scope, you have Chadwick Trump, Ballantine, the guy that just goes over to Japan and absolutely crushes homers. He's on the team as well. Our notes have their pitching staff kind of being a little bit thin. They have Kenley Jansen in the bag, Jar Jurgens. They're in the pitching pool, and they can join the roster. I guess are they not on the roster for pool play? Is that what this is saying?
Where are you seeing this?
Kenley Jansen and Jar Jurgens are included in the pitching pool and may join the roster should the club reach the semifinals in Miami. That puts a damper on that a little bit. Kind of needs some of the back end guys there to close games out in pool play. But I think I'm going to stick with them. I think their offense has enough there, and they're going to be able to score, and hopefully their pitchers can kind of hold on for dear life.
So I wanted to take the Netherlands because of that, but the pitching is really thin, and I think in pool play,
it's thin.
in pool play, you're going to need a lot of pitchers. I'm taking Taiwan. It says here that offense will be their strength, but I think Cuba's going to destroy Taiwan, because that's just like not a great matchup at least in my uneducated opinion of like the way they pitch and the way those guys hit. But those pitchers against Italy, against the Netherlands, Panama, I think they'll be able to eke out enough wins against the pool to be the second seed, especially with kind of a different style of baseball. Like, they're the team. Netherlands, a lot of Curacao guys. Panama, there's a lot of Caribbean series style here. Italy, I would love for them to do it, but it's kind of MLB light. Taiwan, I think, is the most different version of baseball in this pool, and I think that helps them in pool play, but might not help them enough come the whatever, you know what I'm saying. So I have Taiwan, China, Taipei, whatever you want to call them. I say Taiwan advancing as a second seed.
All right. I mean, this is a difficult group to kind of judge. A lot of players, obviously, we don't know. I don't know a lot of the guys playing for Taiwan.
Same.
And a lot of these
all
rosters
their last
are
names
guys
are Chen.
not in our books. So we're kind of going, by guys that we know, guys that have big league experience, and basing it off of that. I have a little bit of inside knowledge on some of the different styles of baseball, but I'm going recent history. I'm going Netherlands, and I'm going Cuba. Because go Bert Blyleven. He told me they're going to be good.
Just think like the bunting a guy over, stealing bases, like wheel play, like all that. Like, I think Taiwan's going to do that. They're small ball people to death. We didn't talk about Panama that much, but they have a decent pitching staff. They're not going to have a lot of names that you make you perk up in your seat. They should have Mariano Rivera just pitch until he dies, if you wanted to. But I would vote on them then. That's Pool A. You have Netherlands and Cuba. I have Taiwan and Cuba. Let's go to Pool B. Can you tell people the teams here, Trev?
We have Australia. Love that. One of my favorite international teams ever is Team Australia. Then we have China. Then we have the Czech Republic, which has Eric Sogard on the team. Kind of love that. And then Japan and Korea. First glance here, James, I think two names really pop out at you in this pool, and it's Japan and Korea. They have the professional leagues. Australia's I don't know where we got this note. I don't know if Peter Moylan chimed in on this, but it's one of Australia's weakest rosters in WB history. That's kind of shots fired there. I don't think anybody from Australia wants to hear that, bro. Is that a Peter Moylan quote?
Might be. They should have invited him to coach. Aaron White.
Aaron Whiteside. He came and ruled our ping pong tournament.
He played in our ping pong tournament.
Whitefield.
Yeah, I knew.
Whitefield.
I knew
we messed that up.
I
knew I was going to get the ending wrong. His nickname's Whitey. He's playing at ping pong against a bunch of people that weren't white, and Peter was going, "Come on, Whitey," and I was like, "This is a weird situation." If anyone just from the outset heard what was happening, but that is his nickname because of his last name. Yeah, I don't think Australia is making it. So this is one of the more lopsided pools because Japan is a heavy favorite to win the whole thing. They're the third to win the whole entire thing. Korea is the sixth, so they're up there. But you got some teams here, Trev. And I'm rooting for a couple things, and one of the things I'm rooting for is for the Czech Republic to win a game.
I like that.
Just win one game.
Hold on. I'm actually rooting against that, James, because Feo pointed out to me. I was wondering, I should have tried to be on a WBC team. I'm 36 years old now. I don't know how much I got left in the tank. I feel like I could still strap it up for one of these teams, and France would be my team I could play for. And the Czechs knocked France out, so I can't root for them. You
know who probably could have played for Czech? Peter Moylan. He pitched in their professional league. One season.
We screwed that up. I should have been searching for this years ago and trying to hop on a team. I think that would have been a lot of fun.
It would have. Well, anyway, the note about the Czech Republic team, it says Eric Sogard is the only big league experience. There's a Georgia Tech commit. He's the number one European prospect by perfect game, Michael Kavala playing. And then it says nearly every other player was born in the Czech Republic and plays in its local amateur league. So we're not getting some drift off people like Moylan playing for the Czech Republic. No. This is a bunch of Czech players representing their country. You know what I mean? Motherland. So if they win one game, that's one thing I'm rooting for. Because the odds are not great.
I'm in on it now. That we're talking about a bunch of dudes just playing ball for their country. I love it.
Sogard better learn Czech. I played hockey with a bunch of Czech guys when I was a teenager. They would do the local open ice. They would never let you on their team. It would be like everybody else that paid for the rink versus the six of them. Or if you were on their team, which I had to do a couple times when I was 16, they'd make you play defense. Igor played, he was the best skater, but sometimes he would suit up and play goalie. But he just skated out of the net whenever he got the puck and would skate all the way down ice and shoot and ruined everyone's time. But you couldn't say anything because they were drunk as shit and they would just fight. But it was fun playing with the Czech guys Saturday night. Dublin Ice Arena in California. I have Japan and Korea. You can't really do anything else here. The note on China is that much of the roster plays in China's National Baseball League, but that has not resumed since COVID. So they haven't. What have they been doing? Maybe they went and played elsewhere, but I don't feel like China would allow that. So they guys haven't played in a while. Their odds
virtual reality, maybe.
Yeah. The only thing is Ray Chang, their shortstop, has played in the previous 3 World Baseball Classics. So how old is he? Can you pull up Ray Chang's info for me, BBD? And he's slashed really well. He's hit really well. So watch Ray Chang if you're watching China. Other than
39 years old.
Okay.
Born in Kansas City, Missouri.
So I was out there. I hope Australia, I would love if Australia came out of this pool, but because Moylan's not coaching, I'm not backing them. So Japan and Korea for me.
Let me get a look at this Australian roster real quick because I tend to know quite a few Australian ball players, and I'm looking at it right now.
That's because you played for the Twins. They got that Australian pipeline.
I'm not seeing a lot of guys who I recognize here. Maybe that's because I'm getting a little bit older, but I think you're right, James. Or whoever wrote that note. This is a light roster for them. No Luke Hughes. Obviously no Liam Hendricks. Shout out to him. Hope his recovery is going well. No Peter Moylan. All right. Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer in this one in Pool B that Japan, they have 5 hitters that they're going to be able to run out there that you're okay, this is real deal. They're going to make it. And Korea, who I think is kind of I'll just say it right now. a dark horse for me in this tournament. Like, they play real ball over there.
Yeah.
They got some real thumpers on that team. Byung-ho Park, one of my former teammates. I hope he shines in this tournament. They're going to advance, and they might cause some ruckus in those quarterfinals and semifinals.
I agree. I just read something interesting. The tiebreaker is head-to-head record, and then it's runs per out, which we just spent like hours devising in the conference room last week, because that's what we're going to use in the next Blitzball Battle 3. It's like a formula. Runs allowed divided by number of defensive outs made. We're doing also runs scored divided by
So it's like differential.
outs made. Differential, so it's runs per out, but that's cool that that's what they're doing. Instead of, because straight up run differential is kind of stupid. We ran a bunch of formulas on that. Forgotten Rotten in the last Blitzball Battle was the 4 seed after regular season. But if you did runs per out, you would have been the 2 seed, which makes way more sense. Shea Station shots fired were the 2 seed. If you do runs per out, they would have been the 7 seed. And we redid it, and even Jolly was like, yeah, that makes way more sense. Kind of confusing, but it's a better judge. So that's what they're doing when you only play so little games.
Yeah.
All right. Which order? I have Japan winning and Korea second. I mean, I'm kind of chalk there, but what do you have?
I think that's what's going to happen, yeah.
Okay.
You're muted on AMP, just so you know. We're trying to get you back on there.
I'm muted?
Yes.
Yep, they're real upset with you.
What about now?
Now you're good.
Oh, sorry.
He's back. Sorry, Ampers. James is chalking it up, taking Japan and Korea, and I am also doing the same thing.
Okay.
All right, back to the show.
Back to the show. Pool C. Now we get to the side of the bracket that, if you're from North America, I think is more interesting to, maybe that's offensive or rude. I have no idea, but to me it is. Pool C. United States of America. I like them. Mexico. They play baseball. Colombia. Sneaky good squad this year. Canada. They've been involved before. I know them as well. They remember the Canadian-Mexican fight that happened in 2014 or 2012, whatever it was.
Man.
And then Great Britain, which I have no idea how they got in here, and they're kind of a fraud team. They are. They're not like the Czech Republic. Like, is anyone British?
Maybe.
I could be wrong, but I feel like they're like all just Americans, besides one guy who are just saying.
I might have been able to find some lineage back to Great Britain, right? I could
Yeah.
play for this team.
Yeah. Who do you got, Trev? You want me to go first? I mean, you have some favorites here. Obviously, the U.S. is a favorite. And then Mexico and Colombia, their odds aren't terrible. Let me see. Who do they like better, actually, there? Mexico is plus 2,200. And Colombia's plus 30. No, Colombia's a long shot. Canada's got way better odds than Colombia. But I kind of sneaky like Colombia's squad.
I'm telling you, man, things happen in these tournaments, James. So don't, if you have a gut feeling, go with your gut feeling here, because it's not exactly, regular type baseball. It's played differently. I think obviously the U.S. is going to move on from this bracket. Their lineup is all time. They have everything you need. It's interesting. So we didn't really get a chance to talk about what DeRosa said he wants to do. So I'll give you a little bit of insight. He says during pool play, everyone's going to get at bats, and he's going to see what he's got. Now, some guys, no matter what, are going to play. Mike Trout, he said, is going to be in the lineup every day. There was an instance in the last WBC, James, where Eric Hosmer got hot and Paul Goldschmidt ended up riding the bench. Hosmer was like just killing it, and so he played. He said the same thing is going to happen this year. They're going to ride the hot hand once they get into those elimination games. Save a few people. Like I said, Mike Trout is going to play. And then he had an interesting discussion about analytics and gut feeling. He's a Penn guy. Did you know he was an Ivy Leaguer? Because I didn't.
No, I like that. I didn't know that.
So, yeah, me too. So he went to Penn, Ivy League dude. So he is, I don't want to say smarter than he comes off as, but I guess that's kind of.
I mean, not to be rude,
say, right?
did he have a What did he go to play baseball there?
And football. He's the quarterback of the football team.
All right. Well, you're Stanford.
It's still difficult. It's still, dude, and it's still difficult. He maintained his GPA high enough to play those sports at a very difficult school. So I thought it was interesting. They brought a guy in from the Dodgers, Pat O'Shea, who runs their analytical department there. And he said, okay, if we have a right-hander on the mound, give me your lineup. And he said, well, Trey Turner would bat 7th and Jeff McNeil would bat 1st. And Mark DeRosa said, no, that's not going to happen. Trey Turner just signed a $300 million deal. If you go and Trey Turner comes in, CT's batting 7th, do you think you're going to get the best version of Trey Turner that day? And the guy said, no. And he goes, exactly. So he's going to run the team more traditionally than analytically, which I thought was interesting. But I think it makes sense. We want to see our stars play in this thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to get that. As far as the pitching, I think that's where he's kind of most concerned. We have a lot of guys here. Kershaw just backed out. The Dodgers wouldn't waive some insurance or wouldn't do something with his insurance policy. He tried to take one out on his own. It didn't work out. So he's off the roster. Nick Martinez is in for him. But this is going to be, I think, the most interesting part of managing this team.
U.S. pitching is not.
It's how you line it up. I think we're going to get a lot of guys for a couple innings at a time.
Yeah. I mean, starters, you got Merrill Kelly, you got Lance Lynn,
Kyle Freeland.
Yeah. Mikolas, Brady Singer, Adam Wainwright. All right, yeah. You could piece this together.
Yeah, we're going to see, I think, out of the starters for the U.S., we're going to see 3-4 innings, and then we're going to see that bullpen come in and lock it down. But the lineup, to me, is where we're going to.
Yeah, I'm very interested in the pitching. If you get out of pool play, you're going to need some pitchers to
be around.
Get those pitches thrown. I'm going to take the U.S. as we talk about them, and we can spend a little more time because majority of our audience is from the United States of America. You got Pete Alonso, Tim Anderson, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Trey Turner, Bobby Witt Jr. in the infield, all starters in Major League Baseball. In the outfield, you have Mookie Betts, Jeff McNeil, Cedric Mullins, Kyle Schwarber, Mike Trout, Kyle Tucker. All starters in Major League Baseball. So they're one of the only teams that has that. Every single position. And what was our note that Dolan had here about them? Not only do they have MLB starters at every position, but there are all-stars and silver sluggers at nearly every position. There are more all-stars on the roster than there are available positions to play them. The lineup's crazy.
They will have all-stars on the bench.
Going back to what he said, he's if Cedric Mullins goes on a heater, he's not going to replace Mike Trout. He'll move Cedric to a corner. So he's going to have some decisions to make, which I think is probably going to be one of the better storylines of this WBC. If you're following the U.S. team, who's going to play? And I know I said it's a selfless tournament, but if you're there and you're committing your time to this thing and not getting ready for the season like you typically would, man, you're going to want to play. You're going to want your team to win, but you're going to want to be part of the reason they win. So I think that is going to be very interesting for me. But yeah, I have them advancing. And I guess the big question is now, James, who do you have as the other team advancing from this pool?
Yeah. I don't know if I have USA winning with DeRosa's thoughts there.
What do you mean?
I just think if they're just getting everyone at bats and
you don't have them necessarily.
Their goal is to advance out of pool play. Maybe they might not get the 1 seed. I have no idea.
Oh, they're winning.
Okay, I like that. I really like Mexico's rotation. I do. I think they have a better pitching. I think they are pitching almost rivals the U.S. in a way. I mean, Julio Urias, Jose Urquidy, Taiwan Walker. Then you have some other arms down there to a lot of relievers. Sandoval, but also a lot of relievers to really help out. I do like that. I just don't love their lineup as much as the U.S. They have Verdugo, That's interesting.
Well, yeah, definitely not as much as the U.S., but I think as far as the tournament goes, like this is
they have a very real
lineup.
teams.
They have a real lineup. Yeah, Mexico's, and they are the second favorite in this pool. I don't know if I just want to ride chalk the whole time. I mean, Great Britain, we can just write off. It's going to be exciting to watch Lucius Fox play. And if you're a Mariner fan, tune into all Great Britain's game. If you're a diehard Mariner fan, because your number one prospect, Harry Ford, sounds very British, is playing for them. So you're going to want to see what he can do. But yeah, I don't have, that's kind of all my notes on Great Britain. I don't think they're going to surprise us.
The one surprise here could be Canada. You know, they have some real deal ball players on their team. And this is another team that's, you know, pretty familiar with international play. A lot of these guys have done it before. Freddie Freeman is suiting up for them, which I think is really cool.
Tyler O'Neill,
who looks absolutely jacked. I don't know if you've seen pictures of him at Cardinal spring training. Oh my goodness.
I haven't yet.
It's pretty crazy. I think MLB posted something and it looks like he's got like 5 biceps rolled into one. Doesn't help you hit, Tyler. I'm just telling you, but it looks cool.
Also, shout out Mariners fans again. Matt Brash will be pitching. He's going to be fun to watch this year. Pivetta, Quantrill. This is for Team Canada. I don't love it. I like Mexico. I like Colombia. They have fun names. You know, they have Gio Urshela, Donovan Solano.
Twins just signed him.
They have Jorge Alfaro, Oscar Mercado, like fun names. But I don't know if they're pitching. They got Quintana. They got Julio Teheran. How do you say that last name again?
You got it.
Fun name to see again.
I'm taking Team Mexico here.
You know what? Then I'll just do Team Colombia because I just feel like I can't ride chalk off all my pool play picks, even though you kind of probably can.
I want Canada to come out of this because I want the U.S. to just beat Canada. I think that's like a fun storyline.
I think Mexico's a really good team. I think I take Mexico as well. Whatever. I'll get maybe more upsets in my bracket at the end, but I mean that Mexico pitching staff's pretty good, and then they got bats too. What are their odds? Did I just say?
They're on the sheet at the bottom.
Yeah, Mexico 2,200. So they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah,
I got U.S. and Mexico for me.
All right. Any other teams or notes on the other squads in this pool that we need to talk about? No, we kind of covered it all. Pool D is basically the death pool. That's why they made it Pool D, because
poor Team Israel.
Poor Team Israel.
Jeez.
It's Dominican Republic, Israel, Puerto Rico, Venezuela. And Israel, sorry guys. I mean, you got Dick Blyer, like him.
Jock
Peterson's playing.
Danny Valencia, former teammate of mine.
It's going to be a tough go because also these are teams that, like I said earlier, they've been playing a lot of these guys in the Caribbean series. So they're just also going to be a little more ready. A little more in season than guys that aren't. So
Nicaragua also in the pool. We missed them in the rundown.
Nicaragua also in the pool. First time they're making it. They have some cool pitchers, like Jonathan Loaizaga from the Yankees, Erasmo Ramirez. But Brewers prospect Carlos Rodriguez is playing with them, so you can check that out. But I don't have Nicaragua advancing. I mean, this is a 3-team race, and it might be a 2-team race for the second place because the Dominican Republic is crazy.
Let's just go over who they have kind of on the position player side. In the outfield, it's going to be Juan Soto, Julio Rodriguez, Eloy Jimenez, who I hope is not in the outfield. Just let this guy hit. Get him out of the outfield. And Teoscar Hernandez. That is a very nice outfield, James. In the infield, Willie Adames, Robinson Cano, get him on the bench. Nelson Cruz, I think is like the GM of
who's
the
their
team
other
or
second
something?
baseman? I think Cano they had listed as a starter. I mean,
I guess Ketel Marte
Cano just played in the Caribbean series, man, and like they love him in the DR.
I know. But they have guys. They have younger guys that have to play.
In the Caribbean Series, he was turning in the play. He was turning like beautiful plays at second, like lazily still. You know, they look casually.
But they got guys who are shortstops that can move.
I know. I'm just saying the way that you said DeRosa said, "I'm not playing Trey Turner." That is maybe how the DR is talking about Robinson Cano. A guy's a legend.
I don't think so.
In our country. I'm just saying maybe. So. He just played in the Caribbean
Series. If he's hot,
like.
If he gets hot, maybe, dude. But look at these guys they have.
I understand.
I understand.
I'm just saying this is like he's coveted over there.
Manny Machado, Jeremy Pena, Wander Franco, Rafael Devers, Willie Adames.
I know.
Jim Segura even is like, I would obviously play him over Robinson Cano. This team is absolutely stacked. And we haven't even talked about, the guys that are going to be throwing for them as well. It is, they're moving on.
Their GM is also their DH.
That's my favorite part of it.
That's awesome. Nelson Cruz is you've seen manager player. Have you ever seen GM player?
Yeah, actually we have in the Blitzball.
Yeah.
Challenge.
Yeah. All right.
Kind of the GM of every team.
Yeah. That is they're stacked, the Dominican Republic. So I have
Sandy
them.
Alcantara. I
have them winning, and so do you. They're also the odds-on favorites to win the whole damn thing. So then it comes down to Puerto Rico versus Venezuela. Trev, Puerto Rico has a lot of players. They have Javi Baez, Francisco Lindor, Edwin Diaz, the Mets from 2021. They were Team Puerto Rico for a little bit. If you went to a game in Queens, it was awesome. There were banners, they were singing. Still might be that way, but they lost Baez.
It's like Edwin too, so more Mets.
Yeah, Carlos Correa is going to miss the tournament. He's got a new child born. Awesome, good for him. Yachty is not catching, but he's managing, or he's in the manager's office. Is he actually the manager?
I believe he's the manager.
Okay. Stroman, who was the MVP in 2017 for Team USA, is now pitching for Puerto Rico. Jose Barrios is pitching for Puerto Rico. It's a pretty good roster.
This is a really good roster. And if you're, between Puerto Rico and Venezuela, I mean, I thought I was going to lean Puerto Rico here, but Venezuela has some absolute dogs on their team too. So this is the one. I think they're both plus 1,100 in DraftKings odds here. So they're both kind of Vegas sees them evenly matched. I think I'm going to lean Team Puerto Rico here. And I'm not really sure why. I don't have a good reason. I think sometimes it's okay to admit that. Although when you look at Venezuela, like they have an offense that could just absolutely go off too. Oh my gosh.
So DraftKings,
because of their coaching staff.
DraftKings has them the third and fourth most likely to win the whole thing, and the DR the 1. So the 1, 3, and 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 and 5. So 1, 4, and 5 are all from Pool D. So 3 of the highest likely to win, according to DraftKings odds, are from this pool. That means that like the pool A,
one of them can't make elimination.
Pool A and Pool A doesn't have anyone as high as these 3 teams. That sucks.
I'm changing my pick. I'm taking Venezuela. I think their lineup's just better.
I like Venezuela.
I think their lineup is better.
Yeah, you got Altuve, Arise, and in a small series, Trev. I like those guys' skill sets.
Yes.
Just playing the game. They also Miggy Rojas is there. Gleyber Torres. Gleyber's playing.
Yeah.
Eugenio Suarez.
Andres Jimenez.
Yeah, Miggy Rojas.
This outfield is very much a talking baseball outfield. We have Ronnie Jr., and then we got the freight train, David Peralta, and then your guy, dude, Santander.
And you got Chirinos and Salvi behind the dish. I really, really like that for them.
I do too.
Damn, I mean, I'm going Venezuela. I'm not going to change, so we're going to be the same here. But Miguel Cabrera there giving advice as a DH.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say. Miggy Cab's like in a big at bat. Kind of like it. I'm taking Venezuela and the Dominican to move on from this ball. Although, man, I mean, obviously Puerto Rico, it's got a real shot at this too.
Yeah. Damn.
I think I've gone all chalk.
No. You had Netherlands, and they're not.
Yes, I did.
They're not chalk.
I did, you're right.
But I think I went all chalk because you told me, because I was trying to be different and I wasn't. So Boring. But now we're going to fill out the rest of our bracket that we've made now, Trev, right? That's we're going to wrap this up. And also I'm going to ask you what hat you think is the best hat out of all the hat designs
People are not going to like my answer.
Okay. I mean, do you like Netherlands? It's kind of cool. I like Venezuela's. Simple.
Oh, you're asking me right now?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't.
I like China's hat. I like China's hat a lot, dude. If I'm just going by aesthetic, I just kind of dig it.
Yeah.
Just talking hats.
Yeah.
Just talking hats.
BBD, you like Team Israel? That's cool.
That is a pretty cool hat.
I was thinking I can't wear any of these. I'm not from the country, but you can wear. You're Jewish. You can pop that one on.
I can wear whatever I want. Why can't I wear?
Trev, you can't wear whatever. You can't wear China. Yeah, and you can't wear. You can't wear Italy. Now with that last name.
What, you think that the Italians hate my French last name?
Czech Republic hat's kind of cool.
James, when I went to Italy over the summer, I bonded with the people. So I definitely would wear a Team Italy hat.
I like Venezuela. I don't know why. That color combo and just that V is making me enjoy it. All right, let's fill out our bracket then to round this out, Trev.
Might be one more thing to read before you do it.
And whichever team Trevor picks, their odds will probably be boosted because Trev gave them BetterHelp. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp, and so are our upcoming brackets. They're sponsored by BetterHelp. Thanks for helping us out here. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. And you can visit BetterHelp.com/TalkinBaseball today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TalkinBaseball. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you, which is who you should strive to be. Because that's who, your loved ones want you to be. And you should strive to make your loved ones happy. And when you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything life throws at you. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. You just fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge if that's what you want. So Talkin' Baseball is going to get you 10% off your first month. BetterHelp.com/TalkinBaseball. Okay.
Awesome. Nick Pivetta expected to drop out of WBC after illness set him back some days.
Nick.
Well, we didn't have Canada. He was Canada, right?
Yep.
We didn't have them anyway.
I don't think that affects our picks, but...
Trev, in the quarterfinals, you have Korea facing off against Cuba. We both have Korea versus Cuba.
This is a single game elimination. I'm taking Korea.
Really?
I'm taking Korea. I think that this means a lot to the Korean team. They get a lot of former MLB players, and guys come over and kind of have, some guys will come over there and kind of go off. I think this is a chance for them to really say, look, our Korean league is just as good as the Japanese league, and we can play in Major League Baseball as well. I just think this is like a proving ground for them, and I think it means more to them than it does the Cuban team. So I'm going with that motivation. I don't know if that is just way off in left field, but I think that's what I'm going with here. Byung-ho Park, big homer in that game.
I'm going Cuba. I don't know why. You almost convinced me to change. It was passionate what you said. I appreciate it.
I think it's true.
But can't you say a lot for Cuba as well? Like, we're a new nation. We're allowing people back. Things are changing. Let's show the world that.
I think that's where I'm getting a little bit of tension in a team dissension in the roster.
Okay, fair.
The haves and the have-nots.
Fair. All right, so you have... Damn, this is going to get confusing. I'm going to try to do two brackets at once. And the other matchup on the left side in the quarterfinal, you have Pool B winner, Japan. We both have Japan. Versus I have Taiwan. You have Netherlands.
I'm taking Japan. And that one, I think Japan's going to be in the finals here.
Okay, so I'm going to take Japan as well because they're always pretty good.
Yes.
They're always pretty good. And then that gives us, that gives you Japan versus Korea, and they were in the same pool with each other. So that's an interesting thing. Now they're like, all right, let's match up again. I have Japan versus Cuba. I have Japan beating them, and so do you. So we both have Japan getting to the semifinal or the championship. That would put them in the championship. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe wholeheartedly that Japan will be in that championship game. They just know how to play international baseball, and they have some really, really high-end talent on that team. I mean, Shohei Ohtani has to, like, if we talk about, like, the man behind the curtain pulling the strings, you have to have Shohei Ohtani in the finals, and I think we're going to get that.
Okay. Well, we both had DR winning Pool D, and they would play Pool C runner-up. We both had Mexico. But I did say that, maybe there's a chance U.S. ends up in that runner-up. You don't want to be in the runner-up because I think Dominican Republic's coming for you. I don't think Mexico can pull it off unless, I just pictured an upset.
I did too. Like
I pictured Urquidy and Urias just shutting them down. Just the combo.
That is going to be an intense game. I'm talking camping, people. Intense.
That's such an upset. I'm choosing it just so people are like, oh, you're crazy. You're stupid. And then I could be like, oh, I did it. I'm the best.
I'm taking Dominican.
Yeah, smart.
Too much dang talent on that Dominican roster, man.
It's crazy.
So much.
It's crazy. I want chaos. All right, then we both have the U.S. playing Venezuela.
I'm going U.S. I'm chalking it up because I believe that it's good for the game if we have the heavyweights in the finals, so I'm going U.S.
Maybe I just wanted to create an easier path for the U.S. because, now that I got Mexico using all their big bullets on DR, U.S. is going to breeze right past. Wow, USA versus Japan in the final for me.
Wait. Oh, yeah, you picked. Okay, so you have U.S. over Mexico.
Yeah. You have to pick the DR.
U.S. versus the DR in the semis to face Japan in the championship game. I think this is the Artie Moreno Bowl. I think we're going to get Shohei versus Trout. I think the world needs to see that happen. I'm taking the U.S., baby.
Well, we have the same final matchup, and we're both just counting out DR so bad.
I'm not discounting the DR. I'm just saying that I just... Don't make me go back on my pick, James.
No, I want to go back on mine. And I want to go back on mine because I'm looking at, if we put out this as graphic, everyone gets mad at those all the time. It's like, really, guys? But DR probably finds their way there.
Gosh, you're totally right. The DR is going to win, aren't they?
I don't know. We kind of just went chalk the whole time. But you know what? It was a thought exercise that allowed us to share all our beautiful insight on this tournament, and it worked out really well, I think.
Time
out. Yeah, you're changing?
I'm taking the DR.
Over U.S.?
I want to see this happen so badly. I want Shohei versus Trout. I really do. I think that would be just like the pinnacle of the tournament to see these guys go at it.
I think I'm taking U.S. to win the whole thing. Oh, yeah, I'm pandering. We invented the damn sport, Trev. Just because we taught you can't invent a sport, teach other places, force them to like it if you were occupying them via the military or religion, and then they get better at it and beat you at it. If you invent a game, you got to win it.
James, it's kind of what's happened. I don't know if you've watched baseball lately, but
yeah, the U.S. has never has the U.S. ever won?
They won
last time.
I wasn't interested in it last time. I'm interested in it now. Adam Jones made that catch.
I think that was last time. Yeah.
Damn,
no,
dude,
that was before. That was not 2017.
Before.
That was 2013 or something like that.
No, I think that was 17.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, when
years are blended together.
Adam Jones robbed Manny Machado.
I almost had my 20th high school reunion, so time means nothing to me. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
People
And
are saying
damn,
2017, so you're right.
I hope that I
Nice.
stay interested in this, unlike 2017, because I
haven't even given my winner
I
yet.
don't even remember. Oh, sorry. U.S. already won. No one
Japan.
cares anymore. Damn.
Versus the DR.
Yeah.
Japan takes the whole dang thing.
It sounded like you like them. You like their ability to play international
just no ball,
baseball.
man. They play like these games. They can win a single
Their
game.
style translates everywhere, is what you're saying, as a unit,
Yes.
as a whole.
Like, they're not going to strike out, bro. Like, if they decide not to strike out, they won't strike out.
I like that. All right. Hey, that's the World Baseball Classic preview episode on Talking Baseball. I don't know if we're going to heavily follow along on the show, maybe little segments here and there, but hopefully
Check in before
you got some
elimination.
insight. We'll all check in together. Our social team will be covering it for sure. See you guys later. Jake sucks.
Jake sucks. And is a pirate now.
Pirate.
Boom, 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 boom.
Let's go, Japan. I also want to switch my hat choice. Can't choose China. I'm
Can't
out
choose
on
that. You're out.
Oh, not
Australia and Korea are my next two favorites. U.S. Like, let's get a fresh logo. U.S. You've been using that thing since 2000.
That's
It feels like it's from that. You